Hello everyone, welcome to my Soap General Hospital official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. It's been an emotional week on General Hospital as news of Bobbie's death has spread and her family and friends have begun mourning the Port Charles legend. The peaceful moments of introspection and memory have been a nice backdrop to the explosive disclosures coming out elsewhere in town as Nina's SEC dealings come to light. And sprinkled throughout, we've been having flashbacks that have reminded us why we'll never forget Bobbie, nor the great Jacqueline Zeman. Lucy, Laura, Kevin and Scotty all dealing through their grief hit our heartstrings hard. And as Carly grieved for her lost mom, we could tell how sincerely Laura Wright felt each of those tears. And certainly, the anguish they felt was all too real. As Wright tweeted, "I'm overwhelmed by all of your posts about today's episode. I'm so grateful to have worked with Jacqueline Zeman, and it was my honor to tell this part of our story." And while Ken Schreiner was appreciative for the accolades fans offered him for his and his co-stars' moments, he made it plain how difficult it was to get through them. With the burial and memorial still to come and news of Bobbie's death still spreading to residents around town, one thing that's certain is that this is just the start of the flashbacks as General Hospital pays respect to a lady whose Port Charles legacy spans back over 45 years. Sadly, there's just no way to fit it all in, even if the program spent the following year flashing back. And that's where social media comes in help as fans and actors can share their favorite Bobbie moments from over the years. And so too, may the ones who formerly made stories for her. Michelle Valjean served as co-headwriter for General Hospital and worked for nearly 20 years on the show before she went over to The Bold and The Beautiful in 2012. In those years, Bobbie lost BJ, discovered she had a daughter in Carly, learnt Lucas was gay, and bid farewell to Tony once and for all amid the encephalitis crisis. But it was one of the simplest, most sincere Bobbie scenes that Valjean confessed brought tears to my eyes for reasons. Check it out here as Elizabeth makes a moving confession to her idol. Bobbie was capable of many things, including boatloads of drama. But she was also a source of inspiration, and as Liz herself acknowledged, a comforting force both on screen and off. Neither General Hospital nor Midday itself will ever be the same without her. What were some of your favorite Bobbie moments and storylines? Bobbie Spencer wasn't always all sweetness and light. Recall her background as a pot-stirring vixen here. But by the time General Hospital announced the news that the hooker-turned-nurse had died, she was as universally adored as she was known. So needless to say, emotions will be running high for her memorial service, which airs on Wednesday, January 10, and Thursday, January 11. During the episodes, daughter Carly will interact in a special way with Bobbie's lifelong bestie, Felicia. Their newfound friendship will have an extra chance to strengthen too, courtesy of a stranger's entrance at the funeral. Afterwards, Carly and Felicia will take off for Amsterdam to resolve Bobbie's unfinished business. But who is crashing the ceremony? It would make sense for it to be Bobbie's brother, Luke, who could turn out to be alive after all. Though portrayer Anthony Gary retired in 2015, his love for the late Jacqueline Zeman are well known. After she went, he told our sister site TV Line that she was quite simply one of the kindest, sweetest people I have ever known. However, Luke would hardly count as a stranger now, would he? The show's headwriters, Chris Van Etten and Dan O'Connor, suggested that the new arrival will have a huge impact. He or she raises some questions about Bobbie's past and present and Port Charles's future, they told Soap Opera Digest. Could Bobbie have another child out there somewhere? Maybe Carly has a twin. Hey, if all my children could undo Erica Kane's abortion decades later, anything is possible. Or perhaps Bobbie, in settling Luke's affairs, realized that she had a nephew she'd never known anything about. It would be exactly like Luke, back in his wilder, crazier days, to have fathered a child he didn't find he had until much later in life. fans tuned in to ABC's primetime special celebrating General Hospital's 60th anniversary got more than they expected. Why? Because during the last moments, it was revealed that Steve Burton, who just confirmed he was no longer playing Days of Our Lives Harris, will be returning to Port Charles. The announcement came at the special's end, when 3 doors were displayed. Laura Wright strode through one, exclaiming, "You know what they say,
The second door
when one
opened,
door closes," and through it strolled Kelly Monaco, who continued her co-star's sentence with, "Another door opens." At that instant, the door between the 2 women opened to reveal a shadowy person, and when the individual stepped forward, it was Burton, outfitted in Jason's distinctive black pants, t-shirt and leather jacket. "Happy anniversary, General Hospital," the star stated. "Stay tuned. Big things are coming to Port Charles." You may check out the clip below. Viewers will recall that Burton's alter ego was purportedly slain back in November of 2021 when a tunnel collapsed as he followed devious baddie Peter August. But of course, no body was located, leaving the door open for his return. In the actual world, Burton's exit had come about when, in the height of the COVID crisis, he refused to comply with ABC's vaccine requirement. "Maybe one day, if these mandates are lifted, I can return and finish my career as Jason Morgan," he remarked at the time. "That would be an honor." Now, it appears that his wish has come to fulfillment. Jason's return to the canvas seems well-timed, given that ex-wife Sam has found another great love with Dante. And with Drew starting to collapse before our eyes, may Carly find herself being more than a little thrilled to have her best friend and ex-husband back. So far, there's no information on exactly when Burton will last air on Days, or when he might come up in Port Charles. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, or a woman who's tired of paying alimony. After a few weddings, General Hospital's Martin presumably understands the first of those maxims personally, and after his divorce from one life to Lies Blair Kramer, he definitely knows the second. Because, as we learned a few months back, she was the ex giving him alimony after their divorce and making his life hell as she worked with Tracy to bring Lucy down. It was all a beautiful strategy merely to get Martin and Lucy to marry so she could stop hemorrhaging money. Once he remarried, Blair was off the hook for paying him those $50,000 checks. Granted, as Martin remarked when she turned up in Port Charles back in September, she definitely shouldn't have slept with David Vickers, but that's neither here nor there. And honestly, that's something that's pretty much always true. After her small visit, though, he assumed that could have been the end of Blair for a while. But now, we're not so sure. Because on General Hospital's Wednesday, January 3 episode, Martin couldn't help but reminisce about his ex with Kevin. Sorry, we intended to say, as Kevin put it, his ex-wife from hell. They were speaking about how Martin should show the same grace in trusting Lucy with her exes as she did with his. Which one? Well, Martin commented, "None of them is particularly gentle or easygoing. But number 3, she certainly puts the other 2 to shame." Yes, Blair was, indeed, his third wife. And no, Martin still hasn't given up those delicious, sweet alimony money and committed to Lucy. Martin just made obvious how cutthroat Blair is, and if there's one rule we've learned from decades of daytime, it's that once someone is mentioned on screen, it's just a matter of time before we see them. After all, her deceptor plan didn't work to push Martin to make the jump and married, so she's going to have to come up with something new, like maybe just team up with Lucy to force his hand. Of course, why Lucy would still want to marry him after he, essentially, cost her company and her ELQ shares is a bit confusing, but hey, love is love. If anything, that just gives her a whole lot of clout to knock Martin over the head and demand him take a hit of his own to be with her. And if Blair came back to put her head together with Lucy and find out how to force Martin's hand, we have a feeling he'd end up bending under their combined pressure. This time, though, Blair might have to linger around a bit longer until she was sure the job was done. What do you think? Is it time for Blair to come back? So what do you guys think about this update? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like my videos, please press like and subscribe for more. I'll see you guys next time.